Points in Extrema. Okay, so let's interpret this in words you probably already know. We're going to look at maximum and minimum values. Okay, so again, calculus makes this really easy. So we're going to kind of approach it from a conceptual standpoint. If I give you a graph, can you find a min and max? Or if I give you a function, put it in your calculator, find a min and max. Okay, so shouldn't be real difficult. Like they shouldn't. Let me give you a graph. We'll start there, and I'll kind of give you all the vocab words and move on to now. Okay, what?
You stand at my desk when it's function. If you didn't stand, it would be function.
What's your next squat? Squat? What about legs? What's your next squat?
No, that's not right. Okay. Okay, so this might be something that you see. You'll be asked to identify the extrema.
Okay.
So it might say identify
Oh, God.
the extrema of g of x. Okay. Who said that? Your calculator's broken?
It's just like a line and like a little comma, and I can't do anything.
It's your phone?
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Exit out and restart it. Number one way to fix computer issues.
Turn it on.
Turn it off, turn it on. Okay, so you have the graph on your paper, almost?
Wait, does that say G? That's
Yeah. It's a gangster function. Okay, so extrema, this, again, I'll just write it down. Minimum, maximum. Okay. There are a couple different types of mins and maxes that you need to know about. What would you classify that point as? It is a minimum. Is there anything below it?
no.
No.
Okay, so in that case, we would call this an absolute minimum. Okay, there is nothing else below that. Okay. So keep that word in mind. You might hear it, some people call it a global minimum. Who knows why we label everything in math with two different words, right? What does your book use? Absolute. So, and that's what we use in calculus too. So, that point, is it a minimum?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not absolute though. Okay, so that is a minimum point in this area. We would call that a relative minimum. Okay. Also local. Okay, so it's a minimum, it's just isolated to this spot right here. Okay. It's kind of like you come to pre-calculus and that's the a low point of your day. But then you go to AP Lit, and that's the absolute low point.
Yes.
So you should know that it's not the absolute.
I didn't say that, Miss Teeter. Don't tell her I said that.
Oh, don't
Wait,
worry.
what's inside
Don't
the-
worry, I'm pretty sure she knows. Yeah.
She knows everything.
Yeah, she understands.
Okay, so,
Wait, what's inside the-
relative or local minimum. All right, so if you would classify that right there, what would it be? A maximum, what kind? It's relative because they're still above it, right? So this is a relative max. And you go ahead and write max, so you don't have to write down 4 more letters. I'm okay with that. We don't like mums around here.
You don't like mom?
Is there an absolute maximum?
No.
Yeah, right. So we won't even address that. There's no absolute maximum because these go on forever, right? Into behavior goes to infinity.
Yeah.
No absolute maximum. Do you want me to write that down? Okay. Okay. Okay, those are the min-max buzzwords. Anywhere that the function turns the corner, how am I going to describe this in non-calculus terms? See these 3 spots?
Yeah.
Those are called critical points. Because they're critical, man. Okay. So anywhere there's a turn from decreasing to increasing, that's what it's trying to say. Graph turns from increasing to decreasing, or vice versa. Okay, so that's a critical point. Mins and maxes occur at critical points. Okay, or end points if we have a closed interval, but no worries there. You think we can handle that? Me?
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna die.
If I were trying to kill you, you would be a lot more painful. I didn't say that either. That was not just recorded to the internet.
Does that say BS or
What? Vice versa, yeah. So critical points where the graph turns from increasing to decreasing or vice versa.
What would happen if like, so would a critical point be like, it starts going down but then at a right angle?
Like if it just has a corner,
Yeah.
so like you're looking at a graph that might,
It's like, it like might come out.
do that.
No, more like it comes down and then starts going parallel.
Oh, like this.
Yeah. Would that be a critical
No,
point?
because this is decreasing, does it turn to increasing? No, it stays flat, right? It's not increasing, so that's not a critical point.
So they all end up doing
It would be a corner, I guess I would call it. Is what we, like in layman's terms, we call that a corner. Don't worry about it. That doesn't come up very often.
Does that apply to like absolute values as well?
Oh yeah, so that's a good point. Let's see here. Let's talk about absolute value functions. Is that a critical point?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because the function goes from decreasing to increasing, right? Yeah, this is a critical point. You can put CP. I know what that is. And in fact, what kind of value is it?
Zero.
Absolute
Oh.
min, yeah. It's also an abs min.
What if,
Some people have abs max, some people have abs min.
graph was increasing and went to straight line to the bottom. Straight line to the bottom.
Yeah, no minimum. Well, the absolute minimum of the function would occur at that spot. So yeah, these would be the absolute minima, but there would be an infinite number of them. So we'd probably say the absolute minimum is y equals -2. Right. Okay, good question. Okay, so those are your so again, you might be given a graph, be able to identify those, right? What if you're given a function? Okay, let's see. Let's go with something that you can put in your calculators here. Okay, put that in your calculators.
Is that a 5?
5.
Do you do
Is that a minus or negative? I'm so confused.
Don't be.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so a lot of people get mixed up, and I see it every year. Negative sign, minus sign. Okay, so be careful when you're using those, that you use the right one. It's a polynomial, so it should be, okay, 5x, and then you hit the caret key to the third, and then be careful because you're still in the exponent right now. You have to arrow out of it. Okay. Minus 10x squared. Minus 20x. Plus 7. Okay. So you have your polynomial in the calculator. Will it help if I write the directions out for you?
Yes.
Okay. So we've entered in y equals, and then we're going to graph the function just to see where we're at. Does anybody not have the standard window up like this?
Yeah.
Okay. If you need to change your window, go to Zoom. 6. And it will automatically set you up. So go to Zoom 6 there, Obed. See if that helps. You're being needy today.
I know.
Okay. Can I see the min and max on there? Yeah. Seriously. Anybody else have an issue?
Well, it always gives me a mismatch.
Mismatch? That's because your stat plots are on. Okay, so just for your reference, see how the top those two are highlighted, plot 1 and 2. If you highlight them and hit enter, they're off now. And you're fixed. Okay.
How do you put the X in there? Where?
X. Are we all here?
Oh,
Yeah, no?
No.
Okay.
that's good.
Anybody else need help?
I do. Well, I know how to like get the graph up, but I don't know how to get the equation.
Would you look at that?
So 5. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Ben, come up here.
Mine?
Oh, yeah.
Then you get to this one.
Just press zoom and turn on the
Mine only brought that. Yeah, mine looks like that.
Yeah, you just have a different window. So some of you have a different window. You have trouble? Oh, okay. Five, X.
Oh, hold up.
Okay. Okay, can I see the mins and maxes here? Okay, so I need to open my Y values up to see those. So go to Window, follow along here, ladies. Front row ladies.
You guys.
And we need to change these numbers to make them larger and smaller, right? So we need to go to, let's try negative 20 for the minimum and 20 for the Y maximum. So we open the window up vertically to see more, right?
Do you only do the Y and then X?
Yeah, we're not going to touch the X's because side to side we're good. But up and down we need to open that up a little bit. Okay.
Is it always by factor 2? We might have to open it.
So when you graph it, change your window if needed.
Whoa. Oh, I see it now.
You graph it again.
I still can't really see.
There, okay. Well, you can see your maximum,
Yeah, it cuts off.
but can we see the minimum yet?
No.
Okay, so again, adjust your window. Just take a stab at it. 30 probably work. I put 25 in. Nope.
Ooh, 30 works. Almost perfect.
Oh, still nothing. So I bet this works.
Nailed it.
Oh, 35 is good.
40's better.
Mine like cut it off by half of the time.
Huh?
All right, so I put negative 35 as my Y minimum.
Then you have something else.
What'd you do for your
I have
watermelon?
something wrong. Clear?
Still looks different. Mine won't save, so I can't see.
No, that's minus.
Oh, negative 35 is 20. I don't know.
Negative.
Oh.
Good?
Raise your hand. Oh.
Negative 35.
Is that one?
For the Y, for the That's much better.
You got a plus instead of a minus.
Yeah. Even, I found out.
What window are
Adjust
You
your
did that?
Yeah, I accidentally did that.
Okay, to calculate min and max.
Go back. Mine is
Find X, so made it.
Okay.
I must have been there.
Okay, if you hit second, this is how you calculate a min or max exactly. So hit second, and then the trace key. And you need to follow this, because we're running short on time to... Okay. This calculator will do a min-max calculation for you. Right there. Trace key. Okay. So let's do a minimum. So you can just hit the number 3 if you want. Okay. Now, where's our minimum? Here? Correct? Okay, this is asking for a number to the left of the minimum. It's left bound. Basically what you're doing is you're going to bracket that and then make a guess. So put your cursor somewhere to the left of that minimum. Okay. It's asking for something to the left of the minimum value, so cursor, no, you can move it right. Remember, everything's left to right in the... Okay, so, and hit enter. Now it's asking for a right bound, so go to the right somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. Hit enter, and then put in a guess. So put your cursor right where you think the minimum is. Okay.
Oh, you put the cursor?
There's your minimum.
Oh, I got an
Okay.
error. I got one.
You got an error. You didn't do left bound, right bound guess correctly. Okay, so here's your minimum. Left to the right, and then a guess. Okay.
That's what I got.
All right, so our minimum here, is that a local or a relative? So it's a relative min at x equals 2. Is it negative 33? So lots of ways to write this, but there's a couple. Okay. Are you clear on, could you do a maximum now? It's the same process. Second trace, second, go to maximum, and then do your left bound. Right bound, and a guess. Negative 2/3. Right. The calculator is not exact because of the pixelation of the screen, right? So the max, negative 2/3, 14.4. I know you don't have these calculators at home. A lot of you do not. You can go to their graphing calculators on the internet. You can do this with, okay? So if you have internet access, you can get graphing calculators. I suggest this one. Wolfram Alpha, it's really good. Okay. It's on the internet, wolframalpha.com. Okay.
Oh, come on.
If you do not have internet access, come see me. I will help you. Okay? Cool. Okay, so that's the conceptual understanding there.
No.
we're looking at,
No.
if I give you a graph, can you identify or can you graph it and identify it? Okay. Too bad.
Insert really good graphics.
Yeah, I want to see if like there's one of these but with like a super pixels.
There are. He has one.
Let me see it.
She has one. They're better screens.
What's it called?
She has a pink one. How about that? Yes, there are a few people around that have the good screens on those calculators because they're making them now.
Holy crap!
They're so much better.
Look at that!
That's a TI-92.
Texas.
When's that
TI.
due?
Yeah, TI 92.
This is due tomorrow, right?
Holy crap! Dude, everything.
Yeah.
Everything is.
Those calculators will graph three-dimensionally.
I bet this costs like $100,000.
They're several $100s.
Yeah.
Nine.
Okay. Give it a shot. Great questions. We will continue working on this stuff. Mins and maxes. Conceptually not difficult. Just get the calculator part down. It'll pay dividends.
There's no homework.